Yes, so that's the Psalm 91, the version on eagle's wings. So this morning, I'm not sure we'll get through all of it, but we will start the secret place of the Most High. And as we have been doing, at this time we go through the lessons via our questions. Is everyone hearing? Yeah. So, the first question in this version of the book, humanity's greatest desire. What is humanity's greatest desire? And humanity's greatest desire, this is Emily Cady, she says, there is nothing the human heart so longs for, so cries out after, as to know God, whom to know aright is life eternal. And at the great heart of humanity, there is a deep and awful homesickness that never has been and never can be satisfied with anything less than a clear, vivid consciousness of the indwelling presence of God our Father. So you know that restlessness, sometimes things are going perfectly, everything, but still there is some yearning. And some people may say, oh, that person's selfish, what they want to gain. No, but it is that inner yearning to really fully actualize and fully connect and manifest our Christhood that keeps us always seeking seemingly to reach higher. But what we are seeking really is our own Christ consciousness. We are not seeking anything outside of ourselves, although it may appear that way. What we are seeking is this oneness, this connection with our Christ nature, the I am in us. And so the second question now focuses on what is that secret place? So the secret place is a place of meeting between Christ at the center of our being and our consciousness. That secret place is a place of meeting. An actual place is not a fabrication, imaginary. It is the place of meeting between the center of our being and our Christ consciousness. It is a hidden place into which no outside person can either come, cannot enter, it cannot induct us. We each have to make that connection with our own Christ nature for ourselves, to have that realization that of, as they say, heart and mind within ourselves. So she encourages us to drop the idea that this place of realization of divinity can be given by any human being. No one can come into it from outside either. That is our secret place. Hundreds of seekers, she said, they might go and they look day and night. They run from teacher to teacher, looking, making frantic efforts for this secret place. But it is a place within our own being where we make contact with the Christ within us. And there is Charles Roth has a book on the interpretation of lessons in truth. And he says about the secret place of the Most High, we can see now that this secret place of the Most High cannot be any other place but within man, within you and within me, right here at the center of our being, hidden within the very folds of our feeling, I amness, or our basic sense of being, alive, here is where we find our oneness with God. So it's not out, as Jesus the Christ used to say, the kingdom of heaven is not low here and low there. It is within. And it's not like, okay, it might be in my bloodstream, it might be, it's everywhere. But many mystics located within the heart. Within your heart, and you know the Bible says, out of the heart are the issues of life. So many persons located within the heart. And that brings me to something I read recently in the Unity. Give me 1 minute. If I stand, you'll have to make the adjustment. You can make the adjustment if I stand, speak while standing. Because these days I usually stand. No problem. Yes. So, I read recently, this week actually, in a Unity magazine, a recent version online. I read it online. The article was titled, "The Science of Mind Behind Affirmative Prayer." The science of mind behind affirmative prayer. And the author is Greg Braden. He is one of those people you might see on the Shift Network who might look at Shift Network, but he's an archaeologist, he's a scientist. And what he had to say about this science behind affirmative prayer, he said around 1991, scientists identified that there were approximately 40,000 specialized cells in our heart, in the human heart. They call it sensory neurites. And they are brain-like cells. And the scientists now say that our hearts can think, they can make decisions independently of our brain. That the heart can think and make decisions independently of our brain. So there is a memory in the heart. And that brings me to a story, a little macabre in parts, in a young girl who had made her transition, and her parents made the decision to give her heart to another child. And that other child, the child who made her transition, she died by violent means. So the young child who got her heart, when after a while, they usually have a lot of support for heart transplant patients. They give them psychological support and so on, a lot of support apart from medical. So this little girl started having a lot of dreams. Dreams about somebody chasing her, dreams about a particular man. And so the parents took her, of course, very concerned. They took her to a psychologist, whatever. But the long and short of this story is that that child was able to identify the person who had killed the young girl, because the memory was carried in the heart of the child. And that is not that one is the most extreme I have seen or heard and read of. But in a lot of stories about heart transplant patients, they say when they wake up, they feel to eat something they never wanted before. Nothing that they ever wanted. Some feel for fried chicken, they didn't like fried chicken. And when they investigate the person whose heart they got, those were their yearnings. So you see, in metaphysics, we know, or we hear, long ago we have heard these things. Keep your heart. Keep your heart. And now we know, the science is saying why you're supposed to keep your heart really and truly. Because there is the memory. There is a memory in heart. And that is why some people, they say they die of a broken heart. Some people walk around. Seemingly they're physically alive, but you know they're dead. Especially if they have lost a child or relative or something. Some people, it is very difficult, and difficult experiences. So they walk around, but what do you say, heartbroken. And so we see there are neurites, and what happens with neurons and neurites, they can become broken, literally. So this is another reason why we must keep our hearts. And if we are saying especially, the heart is the secret place, that's where we make our contact with the I am. We see how important it is. And in the same article, he went on to, he was talking about the as I said, the article is on affirmative prayer. So he said also when he visited, because as an archaeologist, he went all over excavating and so on, right? So in a visit in the 90s, he visited an abbot in a Tibetan monk. And he was asking the abbot something about prayer and how they pray. And he said something to the effect, when I see your prayers, something. But the abbot corrected him and he said, you never see our prayers. You hear our words, but prayer is feeling. Prayer is feeling. And so we know in Unity we talk about the marriage of thought and feeling. And in these days when people, intellectuals and so, and Steve Harvey's and also positive thinkers, when they do these vision boards, they tell you, you have to get into the feeling of the thing. So the words are one thing, but you must feel it. If you don't feel it, you wouldn't manifest whatever it is. It will just be words, or it might take a much longer time because you must get it. It must become second nature. You must feel. And that is what our prayers are. Our prayers are our feelings. And so that is why sometimes we walk around and we think it's only in the morning when we dedicate, or night or whatever, whenever we dedicate to praying, that we are praying. But we are praying every moment of the day. Whatever we feel, those are our prayers. So we have to watch those feelings and ensure the feelings, back of the feeling is a thought. Why am I feeling this way? What am I thinking to make me feel this way? So in that marriage of thought and feeling, we can watch our thoughts and guard our hearts. And of course, affirm our I amness and our oneness. So this secret place, this place within each and every one of us, is a real place. That is the meeting of our heart and mind, so to speak, our consciousness, where we get, and when we pray, it is then we get this feeling. And we know when our prayers are answered. We know, we don't have to see the evidence. We can go around maybe weeks, months, and this evidence of what we are praying for remains the same. But once in our heart we have that conviction and we got that feeling, we can go through, the same experience, we will take it from a completely different angle, because we know we are overcomers. We have overcome that in prayer, in our hearts, in our minds, and it doesn't matter that it might take a little time to come into actuality, to be demonstrated. So that brings me now to just a little aside to what is happening around us right now. Those of us who practice truth know that we have to, at this time, guard our hearts and minds from the evidence that is published daily about how many people have made their transition via COVID. I think, well, they don't practice metaphysics, but if they were to say, and it's not that these are not tragic, that anybody has lost their life, but we cannot get out of it by focusing on the deaths. We have to focus on life. We must focus on life to get out of it. Because why? Because we say God is life. God is omnipotent. God is omniscient. That is why Emily Cady says, read your denials and your affirmations every day, because the little vexations, the little anxieties, they keep coming at us all the time. And many people may be dying, regrettably, from fear rather than from anything else. Some people are dreaded going to the hospital. Their family keeping them out in the hospital at all costs. And then, when they can do no more, they take them to the hospital. The fear of going in, that they will not come out, and the isolation. And it's not, we all, because we are living in it, we must all partake of it in some form or fashion. But we have to be careful to guard ourselves and to spread the word to those who we know may need a word of encouragement, may need a word of upliftment, and to gently cause them to look away from the appearance into the truth, even though they may say we're stupid or we whatever. We have to keep that light of life shining in the so-called darkness at this time. Because as terrible as it is, much more people overcome and survive than those who succumb. And while we are very, very conscious of the pain that it has caused many families and the lives it has touched, we have a responsibility as students of truth to keep thinking aright from principle that God the good is all there is, and I am one with God. This does not mean you do not go and take your vaccine if they say to vaccinate and whatever. But this means that we stay in the consciousness, we stay in that place, the secret place of the Most High within us. And we tabernacle with that presence within us, morning, noon, and night, or as much as we know is necessary. For some people it is not a problem. They tell you, oh Lord, how much people die, and they go on with the way, and they go on and they take a drink, they go on in the pub, they go on wherever. It is not a problem. But they say, man, know thyself. So we have to know what affects us, we have to know what our interactions are, we have to know, but we also know that God is omnipotent, and as the 91st Psalm says, 10,000 can fall at thy side, however, but it shall not come nigh thee. But of course, it shall not come nigh thee if we dwell in the secret place of the Most High. So we have to find that secret place if we're not sure, and we have to dwell in that secret place, and that is when it will not come nigh us. So the third, when we wanted the third one, the key to all power is the personal consciousness. Now, the key to all power is the personal conscious knowledge of the Father in us. That is the secret place of the secret key to power. The key to all power is the personal conscious knowledge of the Father in us. That is the secret key. What we want is the revelation to us of this marvelous secret. What it will give to us, who can accept him, the Spirit of truth, who proceeded from the Father. Surely none other. That which God would say to you and do through you is a great secret. No one will know, no man on the face of the earth, except you yourself know what it is God is revealing to you and what is intended for your life. Other people may make their comments and so on, but it is only God, and only in that secret place that we tabernacle and find the presence. And they said, you see, they said it is, the secret is the key to all power. And that reminds me of Emmett Fox and his the golden key, because they say the secret is the key to all power. And Martin recently passed along something on the golden key, or in the unity chat. And it's just a reminder, no matter what the problem or the situation, put it, as you say, put it aside. Put that behind you as best as you can, because you know if the thing worrying you, how it's going to be hard to put it behind you. But you have to try. Breathing is one of the ways, letting go one of the ways. And get into the mind of who and what God is. So you put it out, you put the problems, you put whatever it is, and instead you think about God. And in thinking about God, who is omnipotent, sometimes we say it, but apparently we forget, or we don't know what it means. We say God is omnipotent, and then after that the conversation is gone in a whole different direction. A whole different direction. But truth is a challenge. It's a challenge for each and every one of us to stay in the consciousness of the Almighty. And that is what the secret place of the Most High is. And it becomes a little easier when we constantly tabernacle with the presence, and when we look to that presence for all that is required in our lives. So I knew that I would not finish this today, and I think it's too important to rush anymore. But I think we have discussed enough ideas about that secret place. It is within us, about how we get into that secret place, which is tabernacling with the presence, a reminder that even the scientists now are saying that our heart has neurites, and it has a memory, and it can decide independently of our intellect. So once, you know, sometimes they say, you know, my heart tell me, my heart tell me. We say loosely, but it is actually the truth. We sometimes say, my mind tell me don't do that, my mind tell me don't pass there, I pass there. So our heart, you're not feeling, the heart is the feeling. When you see someone comes near you and you never met the person, but for some reason you're not gelling with them at all. So it is that heart, maybe it is a past life if you believe in reincarnation, the memories that were carried in that interaction, you still have it. And so we have to place all of that into the hand of God for forgiveness, for love. Always remember, we have to make it light. And I was listening, well, I wasn't listening, but the radio was on. My husband is on I-95. So it must pass the ears. So today it was, they usually have the Catholics in the Sunday morning, they do their devotion. And at the end of it, the female voice, I don't know who it was, but she said, remember, enjoy your life. And that's it. Truth must not become so heavy. We're walking around, you know, like we can't, no. It's God's business. God showing up through each and every one of us. We really don't have too much to do with it at that level. Consciously, yes, we are God individualized. So let us remember, practice our truth, say our denials and affirmations, and lighten the load. Lighten the load around us of those who may be carrying burdens. Some of us might be carrying, but whatever it is, we cast it on the Christ within, in that secret place of the Most High. God is able, God within us is more than able. So thank you for listening. Let us remember to continue during the week to say our affirmations, and whatever we may have heard today that may have sparked something in us, let that take us through the week. Master, any questions today? None today? No, before I sit, I just ask.